everybody, and welcome to Passport to Design. This is the show where we talk about everything international design business, the hows, the yes, the buts. I'm your host, Christina Richardson, and I was born in the very, very northern part of Sweden many moons ago. I have a past as a construction and mechanical engineer, but I've always been a designer at heart. And I made the jump. I switched careers in my 40s, and now I run an international design business. And I'm here to show you that working in another country is doable. And if you want it, it can happen. So just let's get started. Our guest today, holy moly. I mean, he is a former model. Also, he used to work in Paris and Milan and across the globe. And he's an international interior designer. He is kind of blurring the lines between art and furniture. He's a fellow Swede, yay, and he lives in London. And the craziest thing of all is he made a throne for Madonna. Jimmie Karlsson, welcome to Passport to Design.
Thank you so much.
Yay! You look gorgeous, as per usual.
But I'm gonna blush now.
Okay, are you done blushing? How are you?
Yeah. Am I? Yeah.
How are you? Are you jet lagged?
I'm not actually. I was really jet lagged in LA. Weirdly enough, I had two hours sleep the first night, and then coming back, it was like actually like for the second day, but day 3 and 4 in LA, I was gone. But coming back, perfectly fine. So it's good.
Okay, but so tell us, you've been to LA this week. You just got back home. What were you doing in LA?
So I was doing with another fellow Swede, fun enough, and who's LA based, B. Okerlund. She's a kind of stylist to all the stars and do all the Beyonce, Madonna videos, and you name it. She's done everything, and her husband does all the music videos and films and stuff. So we did a collaboration. She's doing a couture dog brand, pet brand. So I was customizing some of her stuff. So it looks really, really cool. So that's now on show at Maxfield's in LA. And I also brought my Naughty Angel sculptures.
Oh, I love your Naughty Angels, you know that.
In Los Angeles. So I'm very excited about that. But I literally just got back a few days ago. It was good. It's good fun. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you're a jack of many trades, I have to say. I mean, so Jimmie, give me a little bit about your background. You're a fellow Swede. You grew up in Sweden, right?
I grew up in Sweden, as you said, many moons ago. Yeah, I grew up in a small town in Sweden, about an hour or 2 from Stockholm. I was always interested in art and interiors. I spent all the money that my mom made, like for me, and the benefits she was given. She gave them to me, and I went to IKEA, I went to auction houses, I went to H&M, I went to places, and my interest of fashion and interiors all came into one. You know, I moved from home when I was 15 years old, and into my loft, and I was spending all my money on my home, so I was already really creative that way.
So you were a designer at heart to begin with, like from.
But I was always very artistic, you know. So I was drawing and painting all the time, and my love for fashion back then. I mean, now it's just simple, right? And then the interiors, you know, going and spend my money in auction houses, buying old pieces, and is great, you know, mix and matching. But what I didn't realize is that many years down the line, without even trying, because I went to art school as well, dropped off the art school to become a model because I was scouted and I was modeling. And then I dropped out of that because suddenly I became best new designer in the UK without selling a single piece of item.
Wow.
So what I didn't realize was that the fashion bit of it, because my furniture and interiors is quite fashion, the fashion bit of it with the art stuff, painting on furniture and the interiors, all went into one. There was never a plan, and no, that's not 20 years ago I started. It's
Wow.
20 years. Yeah. So
But
it was, yeah, it was really unplanned. So, you know, it's funny when you're not planning things, but you have an interest and you have a passion,
yeah.
and the world, you know, the universe is leading you that direction. And here I am from
Yeah.
Sweden to London, from London to the world.
So you kind of did everything the whole time, like but you say you were scouted into the modeling world. Like, were you just walking the streets and someone came up to you because you were so insanely good looking, or what?
You know, I looked like a skeleton. You know, this is the time when the old supermodels went, I mean, they lost all their jobs, right? All the big muscular ones, and suddenly the heroin chic came in. So the whole new wave of super skinny looking people. I mean, I was naturally very skinny, a third less than I am now. Weight.
So nothing, basically nothing. Yeah. Okay.
So no, my hairdresser actually put me forward to this mannequin competition, and in that competition was a woman who was scouting for models, and she said, you need to be a part of this. And I almost went to win the whole competition, and from there overnight I was literally shipped off to Tokyo, to Milan, to Paris, to New York at 18 years old. Now at 18 years old I looked like 12. So
okay, so that was kind of right up your alley.
I was very androgynous, very skinny, and it's crazy, you know. And sometimes I look at my mom and it's like, how could you let me go away when I looked like a young little child? Because, you know, but then again, I live by my own anyway. So
yeah,
that's how everything kicked off.
So did you feel like, did your design side thrive during your modeling year? Since it's connected, I was thinking like it really started thriving even more, or was it just...
No, because I dropped out of, what do you call it? This is Swedish now. Högstadiet.
That's middle school, I think.
And what's the next one then? Gymnasiet.
Yeah. Okay. High school. Okay.
Yeah, high school. I dropped out after 2 years of being with the direction of art and interiors. But I just felt like I couldn't go any further. So I went into pure art school. And halfway through the art school, I decided I was scouted as a model. Wow. And then I started doing fashion drawings and fashion design. So I stopped the artwork and just started doing fashion, which is weird because I was never really, you know, this wasn't really my thing. Then I was catapulted into the modeling world, traveling around. So I stopped anything to do with art. And as I was modeling some years down the line, because that was my full-time job for about 10 years, a friend of mine said, you need to paint again. He put me in a cab and went to the art shop and bought a few big canvases, paints, go home and paint. So I'm like, okay.
He did that?
And with that, then came, I started painting on some furniture, customizing some furniture just for my home, not for a business, whatever.
Yeah.
And when I moved out from my for my home, this guy came running down the street and he says, where did you buy this furniture? I need to sell them in my store. I'm like, I made them. Oh my God, I need to get them into my store. So we then had to register a company.
Oh my gosh.
In the beginning, we were called Bespoke Interiors because apparently bespoke was the coolest thing to do back in then.
Sure. Yeah.
Another year went on because it was a small shop in a suburb of London. And at that time, we had no money. I had no modeling jobs. My business partner was wasn't employed.
It was bad.
It was bad. Yeah.
It was bad.
And in one of my castings I did, I had a couple of pieces photographed on the back of my portfolio. And she said, oh my God, who made these? I was like, well, I made them. Put them in my store window. Use it as a display. That was in Soho in early 2005. Within a month, we got a phone call from Design Decoration Awards, a big thing, which costed us, well, they said, like, one of the judges walked past and really suggest you enter this. But that was £150 at entry. And we're like, we don't have any money. We have nothing, you know. So we had to find the money and go for the two categories we could actually enter, which was best furniture designer, and then best new designer in practice. So then another couple of months went, and then suddenly we got a phone call. You've been shortlisted in 2 categories. Well, hold on, we only applied for 2. So now we're shortlisted, and we had to find £300 each.
Oh no!
£300 each, which is what, like $350, $400 or something. And we were like, how are we going to do this? This is an event held at the Natural History Museum in London. It was televised, and anyone who's anyone in the interior world. So then turns out that we're shortlisted up against Kelly Hoppen in the furniture design. And I'm like, who's this? I recognize the name, and I realize that someone's given me a Christmas gift of a book of Kelly Hoppen. That's how I realized. So it was a nice event, and then suddenly came up to say, right, and the win race for this, Kelly didn't win, we didn't win. But because with the modeling thing, you kind of used to get on hold for job option is one between you and one more person, for example. So it was fine losing that. And then at the end, the very last thing was a special award for the best newcomer. Oh. And this covered 30 different categories. It was lighting design, interior design, furniture design, you name it, everything. And suddenly a picture of ours jumped up, and we were just waiting for the 4 people, but there was never 4 people. There was only one winner. And suddenly we became best new designer in the whole UK without ever selling a single piece of furniture.
Oh my gosh. And then you passed out.
Well, kind of, we had to go up on stage. So wow. The pieces of furniture that was in the category and the brochure that we only done a few pieces. It's still pieces that we are doing today on a daily basis. The same thing. So it's all of them. I mean, right now there was a flamingo chair. I'm doing a flamingo chair right now for a client in the States. There was this graffiti sideboard. I'm doing that all the time. I'm doing that on pillows, beds, wallpapers, you name it. Yeah. So that little thing in the beginning, those are really still some of my trademark statement pieces. So so I had to stop modeling that day. And so a workshop or something, and it's been a roller coaster of craziness since.
Yeah, but okay, so what if you could pick one design that you feel like you really push the boundaries when it comes to being unconventional, and pick something that you're like, this is the one that I'm most proud of. Could you pick one?
I mean, the thing is, I'm sitting in my showroom right now. I rigged this up for you guys.
It's beautiful. It's perfect.
Right now, I'm looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 7 pieces, which all have the same design idea from the one sideboard I did the day one I got nominated. So basically, it's my imperfection graffiti design, but I see that here, just 1 second. Here, for example, on a cushion, for example, a pillow, what you say in America, I see them on a big dining table, and a big sideboard here, wallpaper panels, a beautiful hand-knotted rug, a bean bag, a big pillar, a big sculpture is still there, and
it's kind of the same theme, but you're kind of
the basic thing I think is when I did this, the design, interiors back then was all mocha, cappuccino colors, brown tones, minimal things. Everyone had thrown out all the brown furniture, all the antiques and stuff. So that's what we started doing. And these items have been around for years and years and years, hundreds of years, some of them. Why throw them away? Of course, if it's a crazy expensive antique, I wouldn't. Well, I would, but
you would.
It's a way to bring in the old traditional styles, but in a new, funky, cool way.
Yeah, and you're doing it. I mean,
this whole thing of making. It's okay to be a bit brutal. It's okay to bring in graffiti in your home because it's done in a tasteful way, right? In an arty way, because you have beautiful shapes to contrast with your minimal interiors, and it's nice.
It's
just
so nice.
sharing. And now, 20 years down the line, I mean, how many upcyclers do you not see on Instagram, for example? How many people who are redoing old furniture all the time?
Yeah.
We kind of started a trend. And I think you also, like back then, you didn't think about being planet friendly. You didn't think about that back then.
No,
But
not at all.
you customize old furniture, you don't buy and you don't reproduce new things. You're taking care of the planet at the same time. So it's
Yeah.
in a way, it's like we set off a trend, and
Yeah,
here we are.
you're the OG upcycler.
I mean, I'm the king and queen.
You are the king. I mean, yes. So speaking of kings and queens, I know I just have to touch this. You made the throne for Madonna.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Prince Charles. I'm joking.
Oh, you did for Prince Charles too? No, no.
I did the throne. We have painted King Charles on. That was actually really lovely.
Yeah.
For a hotel. But yeah, I did the Madonna throne. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I'm sure our listeners and watchers want to know
And that's the throne for
everything.
Super Bowl, not just any throne for her home.
No, she's not just sitting on the throne at her home. Maybe she does, but I don't know. But for the Super Bowl 2012?
10, I think 12, yeah, 12 maybe it was, yeah, maybe 12.
Yeah, wow. How did that come about? Like how do you all of a sudden did you get a phone call from Madonna and say, "Hi, it's Madonna. I want you to make my throne"? Or what happened there? I want to know.
I don't think it's ever going to be as direct like that. So, do you remember the volcanic ashes in Iceland?
Yes, we were stranded in Chicago for a week with our daughters in the hotel room. So yes, I do remember.
I was really happy getting on the last flight to the Milan Furniture Fair, because I was like, oh great, I was the last flight out from London because some things are happening in Iceland. Yeah, it took me 5 days to get home. So
yeah,
but I was dealing with a client, an email, and it was from a PA, and said, no, my client wants exactly the same as she ordered before. I was like, okay, so I realized I've done a whole bunch of pieces before for her, but never direct, right? It's through her homes in London and other places.
Of course.
Anyway, last email I got, so send me the invoice details and says it's empty corner. And I'm like, hold on. Empty corner? Empty corner. There's only one empty corner, this Madonna. So that's how I find out. And then it was only a couple of years after that, I think, where I happened to be in New York and I was asked to go for a meeting, not with Madonna herself, to discuss something. Wasn't allowed to talk about it. And I wanted to be Cleopatra inspired. I knew it was for her, and I knew it was going to be for one big show. I'm not a sports fan, so I had never heard of Super Bowl.
Okay.
So I just signed something, and I presented it in her home, actually.
Oh my God.
And, yeah, and that was then done.
Oh my goodness. Wow. That's
I also have to say, I just been to see her twice, her new tour. Unbelievable.
I know.
You don't miss this tour because it's all the songs from the 40 years, and it's so emotional and it's crazy. It did something to me, I had no clue.
Of course. And I hear a lot of people say that concert is better than Beyonce. Have you been to both? Because I know a lot of people have been to both, and they say that Madonna is just knocking it out of the park.
Well, if you think, I mean, she's singing live, she sounds great, she looked great, the production is insane, but it takes you through a journey from 40 years ago when she had her first record contract, and everybody knows every single song. So it's not like a normal Madonna concert where she releasing new songs or Beyonce's new songs. It is like it's an emotional ride. It's crazy. I was crying. I mean,
of course.
I was surprised. So I loved it so much. So the next week I went to I took a plane to Copenhagen and saw her there.
Oh my goodness. Oh yeah. Well, so that's kind of I guess Madonna also have been an inspiration for you in a way along the ride, right?
But this is one of the things, what I told you about. I was studying art, I was into fashion, I was into interiors, and you just don't know how things gonna and upright.
Oh.
But a bit like her, pushing boundaries, and a bit like everything else, she probably was a big inspiration because she was breaking rules.
Breaking the rules. Yeah.
Which I do all the time, you know. So without realizing, look what I have. See if you can see this.
Madonna. Yes. Oh my goodness.
So yeah, so this is from back in the days, but like no, it's like kudos to her. Well done.
Wow. So everything kind of just came together with that throne in a way.
I think, you know, I have another tattoo here. It's a plus. You don't really see it. It's just a simple plus. And I firmly always believe all my life, no matter what ups and downs I go through, I always believe in positivity. And if you're positive and surround yourself with positivity, it's all going to work out for you.
Oh yeah, for sure. And so for, you know, I know there's a lot of up and coming designers watching, established designers watching, but mostly for the up and coming ones. I know, do you have any advice for anyone who is looking to kind of find their own design style? Do you have any advice to offer to find their creative voice and to make a mark in the industry? Like, do you have something that you could say to them?
For interior designers, I mean, obviously you have the existing ones that's been working for a long time who's still struggling to find their style. They just do what the client wants them to do.
Yeah.
Or they do things which is only what they're allowed to do. That's what they think. I think my job as an interior designer is to take the client on a journey, because if you know what you want, you don't need me. So if you say, I hate purple, and I say to them, you should never told me this.
No.
I give them purple, because I also take them on a journey and explain, and that becomes the favorite color. So you have to take yourself out of your own comfort zone, not just follow accounts on Instagram, for example, who does the same materials, beige toned. You need to step yourself out. If you want more fun clients, you need to try to push yourself, not just the client. To create your own identity in the business, you need to know what you want. You can't just do so the shop window is right here.
Oh, okay. So a little bit like break the mold, be bold, break the mold.
You have to, honestly, you have to, because you know, if you can't just go to and take an interior design course, for example, and think, yeah, I'm great, I'm educated now, so I can do anything. Because if you don't have it within you, if you're not creative enough, it's not going to happen. It's like people go to an art school. If you don't have the raw talent, you can't just say and charge whatever. You have to have the pure thing within you. True. So for a brand new interior designer, I think do a lot of research. Look at, especially online on social stuff. See what catches you. Why do you like it? You know, and if you want to be like me, what I do, for example, my interiors are not quite always like my furniture, but they're still bold in a different way, but in a high-end, luxurious way.
Beautiful.
But I'm kind of showing my interiors how you can use my pieces in a different way, you know, rather than in my showroom, everything is next to each other. It looks like a car crash. As a young, I'm sure it does. But as a young designer, try to figure out what it is that you like, and take internships to start with. Just work in a few different places, learn how the business works, because every interior designer works completely different. Yeah. And then don't be scared to be bold. Don't be scared to suggest to the client, hey, what about this crazy big artwork here? Don't go for the plain beige one because it's conservative and safe. Because all you can get is a no from the client. And if you strongly believe in it, explain to them why. And then you say, it works with this, and the balance to this, the balance of the coach to the light here and the layout. It's a really, like, think further. Don't be lazy.
Yeah. Don't be lazy, break the mold. Yes, absolutely. So we're kind of closing up towards the end here, and it's been so interesting to hear everything you say. I have this segment called 3 quick ones to end this show. And it's just from the top of your head. You don't have to think too much about the answer. First one, are you ready?
Go for it.
Favorite designer, fashion, whatever, interior, apart from you and I.
No, so Philip Stark broke the mold back in the days. He's still doing it. People might get bored or whatever. I still, he put me where I am right now because I saw him breaking it all the time.
Yeah, I love Philip Stark. Oh my gosh. Yes.
I mean, good choice. The same thing. Like he put a crazy big artwork. He put a weird chair. He just makes the balance. He paints a picture. Like an interior design job is. It's a blank canvas, and you paint your picture, but he paints it beautifully, like God in a weird, whimsical, imaginary way.
He was never in the box. I don't think he didn't know the box. Okay, second question. Biggest no-no when it comes to interior design?
Don't buy everything from the same store.
Oh, that's a good advice. Because then you can just it looks
like a showroom. You have used no imagination of yourself.
Boring.
Plus it becomes it just sucks out the life. Mix and match. Don't be scared of mix and match, and make sure the balance is right. But don't buy everything looking the same or the same color.
No. I mean,
it's no point to do.
I totally agree. I mean, people sometimes they get nervous when you come and visit, and they're like, oh, I'm so nervous to show you my home. And I always say, the worst home is a non-personal home. Like, I want to be able to read your story. I want to be able to get to know you through your home. This is where you live. I don't want it to be like a showroom. Okay. Okay. The last question, maybe the most telling. Your standard Starbucks order.
I don't go to Starbucks. I don't drink coffee, really.
Really? Me neither. I don't drink coffee. I drink tea. Do you?
What? I had a coffee today. For me, I mean, you and me know from being in Sweden, we have a whole coffee and tea culture, right?
Oh,
we can sit gossip for like 3 hours. Usually tea with a million different types of teas, with candles in winter Sweden. But if I have coffee, it's usually when I'm in town on a weekend, meeting a friend, sitting on an outdoor place, and people watching and stuff. I would never just walk in and buy a coffee. If I buy something, I buy a hot chocolate.
Oh, so that's maybe your answer.
Not Starbucks,
no.
Any place will be fine.
Okay. Well, interesting. Yeah. Oh gosh.
That was a fun question.
I'm gonna make a hot chocolate now with whipped cream on. Thank you so much, Jimmie. You're such an amazing person and such an inspiration for all of us. Just where can we follow you on the World Wide Web?
So you can follow me on Instagram. I'm active there every single day, and I read every message myself personally, and I reply to every single comment as well, weirdly enough. But I do enjoy it because it feeds me as well. And the Instagram is at Jimmie Martin, which is JimmieMartin.
And we're gonna put it down here. And you have a website as well, and you can just
JimmieMartin.com. Yes.
Yeah, we'll put everything down.
It's always updated with the new things all the time, so it's probably more fun to look through it. But all the interior design is probably easier to look at the website, go into residential commercial projects. And
Wow, thank you so much. Thank you. And for all of you watching, if you have any questions or comments, you can DM me. I also answer all my DMs personally at Instagram at Christina Richardson Interiors. I also have a website, but please DM me if you want to be on the show. If you have any comments or questions, DM me. That's the quickest way to get in touch with me. Thank you so much, Jimmie. It's been a pleasure. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you all of you who have been watching. I hope you got some really great advice and some lovely inspiration. Thank you. See you next time.
You already got.
Already got.
protect your business. You've worked hard to build it. DSA Insure. Insurance for interior designers.